Welcome to another episode of I Take
D.
I'm Joel.
And I'm Carla.
And you are here with us on I Take D Ministries, on Facebook, on where?
On Twitter, on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube page.
Yes.
On Instagram.
Share with others.
Yes.
Please share with others if you feel that this is something that could be of help to other people, to other marriages. Please share with others. This is just, it's been amazing, right?
Absolutely. If it's a blessing to you, let it be a blessing to others.
Yeah,
as
we
well.
want to remind you that we're not experts at any of this. We all go through our struggles, and we just want to share our own experiences because it might be able to help you where you feel like you're the only one who's going through it.
That's right.
Well, today we have some special guests. We call them, to us, they're like the best at marriage. You know, I mean, they really
are
bring
mama and papa to our marriage.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're mama and papa. And this is Pastor Richard, Pastor Sandra. Oh, my God. Some of you have actually been through some of their marriage counseling or even retreats. And they bring it, don't
That's
they bring
right.
it?
Yes, they do.
Man, and I mean, we would be remiss if we didn't bring them to our show and give them an opportunity to share with us a little bit of their experiences and what they bring to the table. So welcome to I Take D.
Yes, thank you.
Man, it's truly an honor. You know, I first let me start with this. How many years have you guys been married?
It'll be 32 in September.
32 years, people. 32 years.
Yes.
That's a long time.
That is a long time. I mean, and you know what's the best part about this marriage is, you know, you should be bragging about how many years you've been married.
Right.
That if there's one thing you want to brag about is how long you've been married. Because
That's right.
today, people don't even last a year. 6 months after, they're already trying to quit. And you guys are on 30 what? 31, 32. Oh my God, that's a lot of years. And I love it. Like, I want to get there someday.
That's right. Hashtag goals.
That hashtag goals, absolutely. So one topic that they're so good at is when we talk about oneness.
Yes.
And being one with your spouse. So important, especially, you know, we're concentrating on what it means to be married within the concept of Christ.
That's right.
And so I wanted to ask you guys, what does oneness mean? What does it mean to be one with your spouse?
I'll leverage.
I think one of the things that we talk about is spiritual in terms of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit becoming three and in one. And so marriage was supposed to be, from the beginning, to be two people to become one. And if we think about that in a marriage, we always measure what we're going to say when we're talking to each other as a couple. So when I have something to say to my wife, what I'm really doing is talking to myself. If I am angry about something, if I'm frustrated about something, I pretend that I'm looking at a mirror, which is the image of me, the image of Christ in the center. And when we have a conversation with one another, the conversation changes because I'm only talking to myself. I get to be weak. I get to be vulnerable. I get to be sincere with myself. And in that oneness, then there's a sense of a bond and a trust that develops over the years. It's not overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. And it's not easy, very difficult, because in all marriages, we have baggages and history that come from both sides.
Right.
And there's baggage that we carry within ourselves that we ourselves don't even want to reveal to ourselves.
Right. We want to throw them out.
We want to throw them out, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So as we develop that in a marriage, and you have that conversation and trust develops, then you get to see that oneness, and Christ being in the center, it changes.
Yeah, I mean, I love the concept because it really touches on Ephesians when, not for the female, it tells the husband, hey, love your wife how you love yourself. And so that alone is like, look, men love looking in the mirror and love to point out the things that are going well with their bodies and how they look. And so if you're paying that much attention to who you are and how good you look and how handsome you're looking in that mirror, is really what the Bible is saying. If you love yourself that much, that's the kind of love you should be giving to your spouse, to your wife.
I think, one of the things that works well for us is that when we're talking to one another, sometimes, I'll come in and I'll say, I just want to talk out loud to myself. And he knows what that means. He knows that it means I need you to listen to what I have to say. And give me some feedback, and I'm open to that feedback because when you talk to yourself, like in your head, like okay, I did this wrong, and so you're really open to because it's just you in your head, But so we do that with each other, and that's sort of a code word for us to say, okay, I need you to listen, and I need some feedback from you. Or we say, I just need to talk. I just want to have a conversation out loud with myself, and that he knows myself means him, and sometimes I stumble through it, and he's just listens. I think one of the things that we're in couples, we're often not really listening. You're only listening to think about what you're going to say next, as opposed to listening to what the person's actually trying to say, and maybe not being able to say it. They're maybe saying something that it's not what's in their mind, but you have to be able to read through between the lines, right? And so if you're really listening as opposed to listening to respond, then it just makes a big difference in the communication.
So what you're saying is that people, instead of when they're the ones listening, rather than looking for a connection, they're looking for a comeback.
Absolutely.
And to be in a comeback is not what's going to help that communication go well.
Right. When you actually stop to listen to someone, you can really then understand what they're feeling. Like, wow, I'm sorry. When I said that, I didn't think that you heard it that way. That's not what I meant. But when otherwise, what you're doing is you're saying when the person's saying, if I'm saying to Rich, when you said that, you hurt my feelings. All Rich could be thinking of is, what about the time you hurt my feelings? As opposed to, wow, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. My intentions were really to say this. It makes a big difference when you start listening to what you're saying. But the oneness goes beyond just the communication. It's nonverbal communication. It's spending time together, even if it's just quiet time. One of the things we like to do is go to Maine, right? And sometimes in the car, there's no words being said, and Rich will reach out as he's driving. He'll reach out for my hand, and I'll put my hand on top of his hand or below his hand, and that's oneness right there. Like he just wants to know that we're connected, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
All the feelings and emotions that you feel at the beginning of a relationship, and sort of the honeymoon expression when you first get married, and that persistence of pursuing one another or to be around. It has to be consistent, and it has to be sort of fostered. So sometimes going on trips on a day, overnight, and just being together, it takes away all the distractions, and it really focuses on just you and me. That's it. Because our plan is to grow old together. And if you're not thinking about growing old together, then there has to be a conversation about that. Do you see me with you in 30 years? Do you see us together in 40 years when the children are gone and everybody else is away? It's just the two of us. Right. So let's continue to foster that. So when the children are gone, we'll celebrate, but we'll be together. Let's continue to foster that relationship beyond our children.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, one thing that really resonated to me is the check-in. Even in that silence, is that you're just not gonna just stay quiet through but you're listening to your spouse. And then you're doing that check-in. What you're trying to say is, that's so important in a marriage, and I'm so glad you touched on that because sometimes we're so easily and we say it right. There's some of us that wait, hold on, I want to get my point across, but you're not really listening to your partner's perspective, and it's just like, now I listened. Let me check in to see whatever I observe is exactly what my partner was trying to say.
Absolutely.
I'm interested in knowing, like, when was that aha moment for you guys where you found oneness to be the, like, you know what, that is extremely important in our marriage?
Give it a thought.
I think there were some trials and tribulations that happened in our marriage that make us question whether or not how long will this marriage last. And so, in every marriage, you come to a crossroads, right? And you're like, okay, what are we doing here? What is this? What do we want from this? What vows that we make? What promises that we make to each other? And it's a reevaluation, and that has to happen constantly. We love the renewal of vows. When people have renewal vows, some people do it in 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years. But to consistently be reminded of the pact that you made with that other individual is so important.
That's very important for people to hear, because so many couples will look at your victories and not know
Yeah.
the history.
Exactly.
You know, like right now we're celebrating, wow, 31, 32 years, but nobody knows what it takes to get to 31, 32, 40, 50 years of marriage, 20, 15. Nobody ever pays attention to the in-between, right?
Yes.
Everybody loves to celebrate the big times, and couples need to recognize that, you know, you're not going to get to that oneness unless you embrace the struggles and the pain and the frustrations that come out of a marriage.
We constantly question each other on a routine basis and like, do you know me?
Mm.
Do you know who I am? Do you know where I stand with you? And do you know where you stand with me? Another point I want to make, one of the practices that I do in my home with my wife is that every night I pray just for her. I wrap my arms around her and I pray for her. I pray for her work. I pray for her ministry. I pray for the children at home to forgive their sins and forgive the sins of our home. And if you know my wife, she has been made great. There are buildings now, and I don't like to brag about this, but and she doesn't like that either, but there's buildings that are named after her. She's been lifted up and great.
Right.
And everything that she does, she's been doing great. Why? Because kingdom-minded men are protecting their wives and loving their wives like a father should love the church. And when you do that, your whole entire structure of your family changes. That's not to say you're not going to have struggles and challenges, but if you know my Sandy, you'll know her integrity and her character. And the higher she's lifted, and the more the glory of God is also lifted as well.
Amen.
I think one of the things that folks don't understand, and I understand why, because we didn't understand it either. You know, when you go through struggles, your first mind is like, you know what, I don't need this. You know, I can have a life of my own. I'm a professional, or I can make it on my own. I was by myself before, you know, and that's really exactly what Satan wants you to say. You know, the hard part is living the difficult times and sticking to it, right? So a lot of people, you know, love to see how, you know, our marriage and what it's like, but our marriage doesn't look like what we've been through. You know, so right now everybody listening is like, oh, you
That's
guys
a
are
quote.
so
That's
sweet.
right.
That's a quote right there.
Oh, you guys are, we love it, blah, blah, blah. But you have no idea what our marriage has been through.
To get to a point where we would know both the good and the ugly side of each other, and to recognize the good and the ugly side of ourselves, and still say, yeah, I want this. Yeah.
Wow. If you could share with couples one advice to help them, maybe they're at that stage where they're saying like, we need something, we need to work on our marriage, we need something different, we've tried everything else, what would you guys share with them?
I would say prayer time together is critical. Critical. I can't stress that enough about a couple. You know how Rich said he prays for me at night? That is like the highlight of my day. Because I feel not just developed by him and his love, but I feel like Jesus is like I'm the both of us hugging us. You know, it's just a really special time. And he knows I pray for him. You know, as he's praying for me, I'm praying for him. That prayer time together is invaluable.
And also the conversations about saying, about being one. It's okay for us as men to be saying, this is what I'm feeling frustrated. These are the kinds of things that are going through my mind. I just need you to listen. Help me pray for this, because there's things in my life I still need to change. And so to have that other person to go, yeah, we'll do this together.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, man, I wish we had like another whole half day so we can talk about these things. But as we always promise, we want to go to 15 minutes as tops in our videos. But we gotta bring them back.
That's right.
We gotta bring them back. I know they don't really like being on camera and stuff, but we gotta bring them back. They have so much information that's helpful to all of us.
So much to give. People need to hear it. Sometimes they're too scared or afraid to talk to someone, a counselor. But just hearing these videos and sharing them, it brings you some sense of peace. And you're not crazy. You're not going crazy, and you're not alone in your marriage. It takes two.
Absolutely. So, here's what we will end But we do want to remind you that this is I Take the Ministries. You can follow us on Facebook,
on Twitter, on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube page.
yeah, and every Saturday at 6 p.m. we will be doing this. We do about 8 sessions, right, per season. And so we just want to let you know that we love you, and we'll see you next time. Take care.